commentaries. First, the highlights. U.S. to withdraw about 200 American troops from Nigeria.
Your government reaffirms commitment to intelligence-driven security measures.
36 Nigerians deported from 4 European countries.
And on the foreign scene, Norway's King Harald dies at 89.
Now the details. The United States is set to withdraw about 200 American troops from Nigeria deployed in early 2026 to help fight Islamist militants. According to reports by newsmen, the withdrawal is expected to be completed by late September, stressing that the U.S. is not ending its security relationship with Nigeria. The report further added that smaller teams of American trainers and intelligence personnel would stay back in Nigeria to support Nigerian-led operations. Recall that the U.S. military, in conjunction with Nigerian forces, conducted an operation in the Lake Chad Basin that resulted in the killing of Abu Bilal al-Minuki, identified by the U.S. officials as a senior Islamic State figure and the second-in-command of the group globally. According to the report, the proposed withdrawal is coming after Washington concluded that the specific mission for which the larger contingent was deployed had achieved its main objectives.
Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian military have killed over 21 Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists during a joint offensive in the Kobre Mountain General Area of Ong Local Government Area, Adamawa State. The operation, conducted in the early hours of the 27th August 2026, involved the Office of the National Security Advisor, Tactical Team, and newly inducted troops of 226 Battalion, recently deployed to Sector 4, Adamawa State. According to a statement by the Headquarters Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Hardin Kai, the troops acted on credible intelligence and conducted a stealth insertion into the terrorist enclave despite the difficult and rugged terrain. The operation was part of sustained efforts to locate and rescue victims being held by terrorist elements, including persons abducted from Musa community in May 2026 and the Lassa school children abducted in June 2026.
In a related development, 11 people, including an unidentified number of core members, have been rescued after gunmen attacked vehicles along the Aloma-Egani Expressway in Ofo local government area of Kogi State. According to the Kogi State Police Command, the armed man emerged from the bush and blocked 2 buses traveling, abducting some of the passengers while others escaped into the surrounding bush. The police said the divisional police officer in Ofo led a joint security team to the scene following a distress call, where 2 abandoned vehicles were recovered and a coordinated bush combing and rescue operation was immediately launched, leading to the rescue of 11 abducted victims, including the drivers of the 2 vehicles. The police public relations officer in Kogi State, ASP Saliu Afsat, said the preliminary debriefing showed that most of the rescued victims were members of the National Youth Service Corps traveling from Bayelsa State to Abuja. The rescued victims were subsequently debriefed and allowed to continue their journey after the necessary procedures were completed.
In the same vein, the Oluyole State Acting Governor, Barrister Oluyole, has reaffirmed the administration's commitment to strengthening intelligence-driven security and deepening collaboration with national defense and security institutions to safeguard lives and property across the state. The Acting Governor said this through the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musiba Batunde, while receiving the Commandant and participants of the Advanced Defense Intelligence Officers Course 16 of 2026 of the Defense Intelligence College, KARU, who are in the state for a national study tour. Details of the event, held at the conference room of the Local Government Service Commission, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan, are presented by Governor's Office Correspondent Olalekan Sulaiman.
Welcoming the delegate on behalf of the Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Oluyole, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musiba Batunde, described the Defense Intelligence College as a critical institution in strengthening Nigeria's national security and intelligence capacity. Professor Batunde said that Oyo State Government attaches great importance to security, describing it as a fundamental requirement for sustainable economic development, investment, education, social stability, and the overall well-being of the people. Addressing the course participants, the SSG urged them to approach the study tour with an open mind, engage relevant stakeholders, and exchange experience capable of contributing to the strengthening of national security.
Anytime the Amotekun security comes in with their budget, the first thing I always ask them, what amount of resources are you allocating to intelligence gathering? Because I know this class of intelligence gathering, if you get it, it will reduce the response time or being able to now try to cure the situation in which the people from the British colony always say prevention is better than the cure.
Earlier, the team leader and the commandant of the Defense Intelligence College, Commodore Usman M. Bugaji, said the study tour provided the officers with an opportunity to interact with security agencies, military formations, and other key stakeholders in Oluyole State. He said the participants were also able to gain insight into the state government's approach to managing recent security challenges, particularly incidents of kidnapping. The commandant, however, commended Governor Seyi Makinde for his consistent support for security agencies in the state, assuring that findings from the tour will be documented and shared with the state governments and security agencies to enhance intelligence gathering and security operations across the country.
Recently, at our session, it was also good for the students to learn to see how the effort of the government came into play in the process of the eventual rescue, which not only to serve for your state, other states too, because at the end of the day, all their findings to become a gazetted document which could be shared to all state governments or security agencies on a daily basis. So basically, sir, this is what we're here for.
The delegate later joined Oluyole State government officials and other dignitaries at a dinner organized by the state government in their honor, where they interacted in relaxed atmosphere. Speaking at the dinner, the representative of the acting governor, Professor Musbah Babatunde, reaffirmed the state government's readiness to deepen collaboration with the Nigeria Armed Forces and other security and intelligence institutions. He said the partnership will focus on intelligence development, early warning mechanism, information sharing, capacity building, and community-based security initiatives.
And we are quite happy that you choose Oluyole State as actually the state of reference for the study tour. And I also said that, okay, I will discuss with His Excellency to make sure that Amotekun is represented in the best works of intelligence officers that will be selected.
In their separate goodwill messages, the head of service, Dr. Adenike Fashino, the executive assistant to the governor on security coordination, Major General Lukman Omaniyi, retired, the Asheyin of Iseyin, Obasefiu Oyebola, and the chairman of the State Elders Council, Chief Saka Balogun, commended the Defense Intelligence College delegation for the visit. They noted that Governor Seyi Makinde's administration has consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to security and the development of human intellectual capacity as key components of good governance and sustainable development. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
Nigeria's capital market is set to return to the global investment map as the global index provider FTSE Russell has approved its reclassification from unclassified to frontier market status, effective from the opening of trading on Monday, 21st September 2026. The federal government said the decision was an important sign that reforms in the foreign exchange market, capital repatriation, and wider financial system were beginning to restore international investment investors' confidence in Nigeria. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, disclosed this in a statement issued and signed today following the confirmation by global index provider FTSE Russell. Oyedele said Nigeria's return to the frontier market group came almost 3 years after the country was removed from the index in September 2023 because international investors faced serious difficulties accessing foreign exchange and moving their investment returns out of the country. It said the latest decision followed improvement in foreign exchange liquidity, investors' ability to repatriate capital, and the general ease of accessing the Nigerian markets.
The federal government has called for inputs from Nigerians and other stakeholders ahead of the drafting of the Finance Bill 2027. The Federal Ministry of Finance made the call in a notice posted on its official X handle today, inviting members of the public, businesses, investors, professional bodies, civil society organizations, academia, public institutions, and other stakeholders to submit proposals. The ministry said submissions should focus on practical, evidence-based legislative or regulatory reforms that strengthen Nigeria's fiscal framework and improve the business and investment environment. According to the ministry, proposals should seek to strengthen Nigeria's fiscal framework, improve the business and investment environment, enhance fiscal transparency and accountability, as well as support sustainable economic growth. On priority considerations, the government said submissions should address gaps, ambiguities, inconsistencies, and implementation challenges in existing laws and regulations.
However, the government is being urged to prioritize policies that have a direct impact on the lives of Nigerians, particularly in the areas of food, education, and security. The call was made by a business management consultant, Mr. Kunle Olatunji, and a finance analyst, Elder Sonjo Akamu, while discussing the topic Restoring Fuel Subsidy Solution on Retrogression on the BCUS Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. BCUS reporter Fedora Afolagboye brings details of the program.
As Nigerians continue to grapple with the rising cost of living, renewed calls for the restoration of fuel subsidy have sparked debate over whether the policy would provide much-needed relief or return the country to a system that places a heavy burden on government finances. Speaking on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM120, a business management consultant, Mr. Kunle Olatunji, said the decision to remove the fuel subsidy was necessary, that its implementation should have been delayed by 3 to 4 months. He said, such a delay would have given Nigerians more time to prepare for the economic consequences of the policy. According to him, the country had been operating a subsidy regime without adequate sustainable funding, making its eventual removal inevitable and leaving Nigerians to bear much of the immediate impact.
Globally, fuel is a global priced item. I mean, petrol, like any other aspect of the oil and gas products, is an international priced product, and we are far behind other nations when it comes to pricing. And how did we get to these routes in the first instance? We should be asking such questions. What brought us into subsidy? Subsidy simply means that this is the ideal price for a product if you are going to buy it in the market. However, because of certain sentiments, people will make noise. Even before, you remember the president now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at a point also fought assiduously against fuel subsidy. But when he got into government, over time you begin to realize certain things you don't know when you are. You can't blame anybody for certain level of ignorance at any particular point in time.
Also contributing to the discussion, a finance analyst, Elder Sonjo Akomu, described fuel subsidy removal as a necessary economic measure, but criticized the manner in which it was implemented. He said President Bola Tinubu acted hastily and without adequate preparation for the consequences of the decision, particularly given the economic hardship subsequently experienced by Nigerians. Elder Akomu also argued that former President Goodluck Jonathan should have summoned the political will to remove the subsidy during his administration, saying an earlier implementation could have enabled Nigerians to begin enjoying the benefits of the reform by now.
Absolutely. And I was of the opinion that it was ill-prepared. And I ran into a document that was prepared by some economists, captain of industries, business people for President Tinubu. I think he was the one who asked people to go and do that research for him. And they gave him sectorial analysis of the economy, what's supposed to be done, what step he should take. And in that document, they gave him steps.
Both guests agreed that economic reforms often come with short-term sacrifices, but stressed the need for government to ensure that such sacrifices ultimately translate into improved living conditions for citizens. They called on Nigerians to remain calm, avoid unnecessary agitation, and continue to engage constructively with the government over policies affecting their livelihoods. They also urged the government to prioritize food security, education, and security, saying Nigerians are not asking for too much, but for policies that will improve their standard of living. Fidora Afolagbe, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, Ibadan. 36 Nigerians have been deported from 4 European countries in a joint operation that saw 41 people flown to Nigeria and Ghana, according to reports released today by newsmen in Austria. In Austria, 3 Nigerians were deported from Austria, while 29 Nigerians were deported from Germany, 2 Nigerians from Luxembourg, and 1 Nigerian from Hungary. The deportees were flown out on a charter flight between Wednesday night and Thursday morning, with Lagos in Nigeria and Accra in Ghana listed as the destinations. Germany organized the operation, with Austria, Luxembourg, and Hungary also participating in the charter deportation. Commenting on Austria's deportation policy, the country's Interior Minister Gerhard Kahner said the government would continue removing illegal residents and criminal offenders. According to earlier reports, the latest deportation comes after Germany deported 137 Nigerians in 5 chartered flights between February and June 2026.
The federal government has said cancer patients should not be sent home when they still require hospital-based care, emphasizing that treatment should continue even when cure is no longer possible. National Coordinator, National Cancer Control Plan, NCCP, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Worker, Dr. Uchechukwu Nwoku, said this in an interview with newsmen today in Abuja. Dr. Nwoku said the inability of a health facility to provide further curative treatment should not automatically result in a patient being discharged without arrangement for continued care at patient. Such a patient should be referred promptly to another facility where appropriate care and necessary medical support could be provided without interruption. According to him, the only circumstance in which a cancer patient should be discharged home is when clinically stable, able to take treatment orally, and unlikely to require intervention or monitoring.
Similarly, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has warned that Nigeria's cholera outbreak is far from over, despite a significant decline in weekly cases. NCDC Director General Dr. Jide Idris, who gave the warning today, noted that more than 65,000 suspected cases have been recorded across 35 states and about 195 local government areas this year. Dr. Idris said the country could face another surge between late August and October as the rainy season continues, warning that flooding, unsafe water, and poor sanitation could reverse the gains made in containing the disease. The agency said that the decline in cholera deaths was encouraging but should not create a false sense of security.
The life and legacies of the first general manager of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, BCOS, late Chief Adekunle Adeleke, have been celebrated at an evening of worship and tribute held in his honor. The late Chief Adeleke, who served as the Bastion of Iragbiji, was remembered as a community leader, administrator, mentor, and philanthropist, whose contributions touched many lives. Family members, traditional rulers, former colleagues, friends, and beneficiaries gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of the late Chief Adekunle Adeleke, who hailed from Ajibiodo family compound in Iragbiji, Boripel local government area of Osun State. In his sermon, the minister in charge of All Saints Church, Jericho, Ibadan, The Venerable Solomon Jolayemi urged the people to live purposeful and impactful lives while responding to God's call to salvation before answering the call to eternity. In his tribute, the Owa of Igbajo, Oba Ademola Makinde, said the intervention and benevolence of the late Chief Adeleke transformed his life, adding that he and 3 other siblings benefited from his generosity. The Aragbiji of Iragbiji, Oba Abdurrashid Olabomi, described the deceased as a pillar of support to the town and its people.
In the world of sports, President Bola Tinubu has ordered a comprehensive reform of Nigerian football following a string of failures by the country's national teams to qualify for major international competitions. The directive came hours after Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) President Ibrahim Gusso, General Secretary Mohammed Sanusi, and members of the Federation's Executive Committee resigned amid mounting pressure over the state of Nigerian football. The NFF confirmed the mass resignations in a statement, saying Gusau's decision was intended to pave way for a comprehensive and orderly reform process and to address long-standing institutional, governance and development challenges confronting the game. Announcing the presidential directive, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, said President Tinubu ordered the reform to enable Nigeria overcome its repeated failures to qualify for major regional, continental, and global competitions.
On the foreign scene, Norway's King Harald has died aged 89, with his 53-year-old son, Crown Prince Haakon, automatically succeeding him on the throne. The palace disclosed this in a statement released today, noting that the late king passed away peacefully at Oslo University Hospital today. The flag at the Royal Palace in Oslo was lowered to half-mast. Europe's oldest reigning monarch, King Harald, had been in hospital in Oslo since 17th August, suffering from hemolytic anemia, a condition caused by an abnormally rapid destruction of red blood cells, which leads to fatigue and shortness of breath. The royal family had rushed to his bedside on Thursday as the palace announced that Harald's condition was extremely serious. Late King Harald, who ascended the Norwegian throne in 1991, had had multiple health problems in recent years, forcing him to have a peacemaker fitted and to scale back to his official schedule.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the top stories. The United States is set to withdraw about 200 American troops from Nigeria, deployed in early 2026 to help fight Islamist militants, with the move expected to be completed by late September, stressing that the U.S. is not ending its security relationship with Nigeria.
The Oluyole State Acting Governor Barrister Bayo Lawal has reaffirmed the administration's commitment to strengthen intelligence-driven security and deepening collaboration with national defense and security institutions to safeguard lives and property across the state.
36 Nigerians have been deported from 4 European countries in a joint operation that saw 41 people flown to Nigeria and Ghana, with 3 Nigerians deported from Austria, while 29 Nigerians were deported from Germany, 2 Nigerians from Luxembourg, and 1 Nigerian from Hungary.
Norway's King Harald has died aged 89, with his 53-year-old son, Crown Prince Haakon, automatically succeeding him on the throne.